Perfect. So, welcome to the month of December Cosmic Compass Flow Call. So, what is this call? This is something that from your feedback. So, first and foremost, thank you so much for your feedback. I have created all of this curriculum for my own family over the last several years, and I answered the really big call to share this with the world. And so, it has been a beautiful unfolding of allowing others to give feedback and their celebrations and their reconnections and just celebrating alongside with so many of you. And so I wanted to implement something that could get us connected even more. So if you know, every Thursday I go live and I'm doing these calls every Thursday in our membership or our community, I should say, for us to answer your questions, to get together and make ourselves as much as a tight-knit community as we can in the internet world. And so I want to take it one step further because those of you who have opted into the membership, the Cosmic Compass membership, oh, it is a dream. It is a dream of mine to have started a co-op and be in a community, and I will get there. We are in the transition of moving, and I just want to bring it all. I just want it to be bam in there. And so creating a space for this on the interweb was the next best thing I can do to in person. And so I want us to join together monthly. So all of you who are in the Cosmic Compass monthly membership, you are able to opt in or opt out at any time. $27 a month gets you continued, I'll say curriculum, but I like to call them rhythms because we're going to talk about today how we can break these rhythms down into really easeful processes. And what I mean, I don't even processes. I don't even like all this structure talk. We're just looking at the flow. We're looking at how easily we can flow. Give me a second. I'm going to let the dogs. All right, perfect. So the dogs are going to get a little bit rowdy, so I want to let them outside. Perfect. All right. So what I want to talk about today is how we can utilize this flow and adapt it to your own style. When I created the Sacred Rhythm as a whole, the starter kit, the parent portal, as well as this Cosmic Compass yearly curriculum, it was centered around the things that we did throughout our day. And again, we don't have to do this every single day. You are creating your own rhythm. So as much as we've been told from the outside, you need structure, you need a checklist, you need this, you need that. We don't need any of these things, right? We just need us. We need to be ourselves. We need to look at ourselves and be able to digest the designs of our individual family members, our children, ourselves, honor that, and then put into play what works for us. And so I've gotten a lot of feedback from everybody, which I'm so grateful for. So continue to provide feedback. You could send me a message on Telegram, you could email it to me, you could send me a message in the community here. It is so important that I get feedback because this is not anything that's ever been created before, you guys. This is not a homeschool curriculum like you could buy from a box store or from Barnes& and Noble or from some online website. This is a living, breathing entity. It's a living, breathing text and of a living, breathing breath of body work because we are all not going to do this the same way. And that is the point. The point is that we're going to take Cosmic Compass and we're going to utilize it as an invitation. We're utilizing it as an opportunity to look into the lives of our children, the designs of who we are as mothers, and see what works for us. And then we could take it and we could expand it, extrapolate it, condense it. We could utilize it however we see fit to optimize our rhythm. That is the big difference here. We are optimizing rhythm. We are not at all just taking it, doing it, checking a box, and being done with that. Because homeschool is not just school at home. We all know that. We all lived through the pandemic, right? It's not just school at home. It requires presence and connection and love and some type of relationship outside of this teacher student, right? As mothers, we cannot just come in and be the teacher because I don't know about you, but my children don't want to learn anything from me. They want to learn it themselves. And that is how we are redefining school as homeschool, but not just being school at home, but literally shifting into a sacred rhythm and what I love to call a sacred remembrance, because this is literally how our ancestors learned everyone. They learned by doing and being, not by being told and then being voluntold and then going into a structure and a system. That is why the system now is breaking, because that system was created on industrialization and creating workers that repeat, rinse, wash, repeat over and over and over and over again. It was not created for sovereign, creative, connected, loving communal beings. They took us away from that. And that is the big difference that I want to make here. So these calls are to bring us back to community. These calls are not to separate us or to tell you you're doing curriculum wrong or you need to do it this way. This is an invitation for connection and a depth of understanding on what your children and what you are desiring, most importantly, as a mother. And that is the biggest difference. So let's start with December. I'm going to go through this every single month. It's already in the calendar. If you're in our free community, if you're not, please join. I know I have lots watching live from the free community and some here on the Zoom. I have to run two separate windows in order to stream. That's just the way the community works right now. Hopefully it updates itself here in the next couple months so we can have a little bit more easeful instead of all these things on my screen, checking message boxes and all this stuff. But for December, I'm going to start with just an overview of what we have because some people, again, this was open a call for anybody who is in our community. So if you are in our community and you're not in Cosmic Compass, you are completely able to get on this call, be on this call, watch this replay because I want to share with you the magic that happens. This is not just a curriculum that you just copy. It is a living, breathing thing and it's magical. And so for December, we're talking about the light in the dark. So kind of this theme of solstice, sacred night, inner light, right? We're looking to how we can live biologically and in unison or in rhythm with the seasonal flow, because that's who we are as human beings. We're no different than those animals out in nature. We have Mother Nature inside of us. And so I want to break this down into a head, heart, and hands understanding. And every single month, we're going to jump on. They're already on the calendar in the community. You're able to jump on, ask your questions. We'll have an opportunity at the end here, but we're going to highlight the head, heart, hands model because all of our children are different. I have three children. Literally, they couldn't be any more different from one another. Although they somehow all similarly are like me in some way, but they're all like just different exposed sections of me. And my husband, of course, too. But when we look at our children, we've all heard, right? If you grew up in the public school system like I did, you heard auditory, kinesthetic, visual learners, right? I have a lot of those things. I'm very mixed, and it depends on what I'm learning and how I like to incorporate or I like to learn it. So I want to go over this in an understandable way that's outside of the system. So a lot of our children, right, are in their heads, right? They have this idea that they have to understand it first. I have a son that this way. He just logically wants to understand everything. He asks a million questions. He has to figure it out. He has a great imagination. And so a lot of these questions that come in, I don't have answers for. Right? It's like, oh, I never even thought of that because that's not how I work. And most people in the conventional homeschool world, they'd be like, oh, well, don't worry about it. Or people in the public school world, be like, well, we don't talk about that. We are focused on the standards, right? And so this allows us to flow and help that child develop into who they are called to be, who they've already decided they are, because they're here for a really big purpose. And it is our job, I believe, as parents to honor that and to honor their curiosity and their inquisitiveness and help mold them into the version of their authentic selves. So when we're talking example for the month of December, so if you are in the Cosmic Compass, you could download the content right now as we're talking. It's all there for you. Every single month, for those that are new, there is a full 4 weeks of content or opportunities of invitation of rhythm, I should say. There is a extended story section. So this is brand new. We started this about a month ago at the end of October. Every single month, we'll now have an extended story section for the child who is in their head and likes understanding and likes a little bit more depth, or for those older children that between like the ages of 8 and 12 that want to just have more and they like to sit and they like that structure. Then we also have a meditation that goes alongside of it. And so this meditation is surrounded by this theme. They can listen to it daily as often as they want. My children are obsessed with the meditations, probably because they sound like me. So anytime they can, they ask for me to put on the meditation. So I have a whole library library that I just pull up, it doesn't matter the month, and I throw it on. So you could listen to these over and over again. If they have a favorite meditation and it's December and it's about the light and the dark, well, maybe that's something that their body is and their mind and their soul is expanding or working on understanding in a deeper aspect. And so that's how we could utilize that. You also get a audio introduction at the top of each lesson for every single month. That's me speaking in audio, going over each week and why it's that way. I also, with my expertise in pediatrics and neurodevelopment, the nutritional side of things, the intuitive aspect, the oracle part of me, I combined all that I am and all that I know and all that is, downloaded and channeled into this world for me to bring to the forefront in this gift and offering for those of you. In that quick 4 to 5 minute blurb, it walks through the reasons, the emotions that may come up, what the child might experience through this lesson. And so it's so much more in depth than just take this worksheet, check it off. They did their spelling today. Take this worksheet, check it off. They did their reading today, right? This is so much more than that. And I truly believe, because I have my own living, breathing children and dozens of children, and hundreds of children, thousands of children in my practice that I've worked with in this facet over the last 8 years. So let's look at head. The head, the understanding part. If you have a child that is very logical, analytical, all in their head, let's start there. If we're learning this month and we like to take this out of order, or you're easing in any facet or any type of way that feels overwhelming. People who are overwhelmed don't ever do anything, right? Been there myself, guilty. We just sit there like a deer in the headlights. Like, I don't even know where to start. So if you have a child that has to be logically massaged into doing things and has a big lot of questions, start here. Just start reading them stories, because the stories have so much meat and potatoes and depth and things that they could understand and big things that they wrap their head around. And if they're not super creative yet, or they're not constantly wanting to put their hands or moving their bodies yet, and they're in that very early stage. My second child was like this. She wasn't very outgoing. She didn't like a big personality yet. Now she has the biggest personality. Uh, if you have a child that's very kind of like recluse, start with the stories, right? Learn about experiences outside of your body that you could feel safe in. This is how we harbor safety in our physiology, in our nervous system. So week one is the candle child. We're talking about the inner light and the soul spark inside of us, more of a quiet presence, some type of shared warmth that we have that maybe is kind of just getting ignited underneath the surface. Week two, we dive into Nights of Stars. And so this looks at like the cosmic awe, like the bigness outside of us, right? So we're going from inward to external, and we're looking at the beauty in the darkness. So we're looking at the light and the dark, and we're looking to compare the two. So this is a great way if your child's new, you're new to this. I know you know how to read a story. This is how you do it. Just tap into the stories. Now, the short stories, right? In the breakdown of the Cosmic Compass, you will always have a short summary in the intro section so the parent knows what story we're going to be talking about if they want to extrapolate into the lesson, or what kind of like parable aspect, if you want, that we're talking about, or if you want to dive right in to the actual short story. There is a short 1 page brief read over that you could literally read every day. And I know it sounds repetitive and I know it sounds like, well, I want more. But it was designed for children to be more, not for you to spoon feed them. And that's the thing here that I get a lot of questions on. And once I share that with parents, it's like a aha. Because number one, what are children? They're creative beings. Their mind works and their neurology works very different than yours. They want to see, touch, smell, taste, hear, dance, feel, move, intuitive downloads, all the things. And this is what allows for that. So if you just read them, that first short story, you will then see how they're going to respond. And if they're not into it and they're like, I don't know, I don't really like this, go to the extended story. Because sometimes children need to be nurtured. They need to be tethered and anchored into a frequency or an energy or vibration. And that's us as moms, right? And so I get it. My life is chaotic. Like, but so chaotic, right? So many things that I carry, so many plates that I carry, as we all do. But you just have to anchor in for a moment, right? Anchor in with that child for a moment. So if you give them that opportunity to anchor in and be connected, they will develop their own storytelling. My son was like this. He was not very creative. He was very quiet, silent, inner being. And then as soon as he turned like 4 or 5, he just like bam. But it took some nurturing, right? We're planting seeds, and these stories are seeds. I promise you, these children will remember these stories forever because they are written in a way that entices them to want to know more, to ask questions, to lead and be curious with what's happening in the story. And also, if your child is just not into it, make the story about them. I like to keep the names very open-ended and very like, I'm not sure what this child's name is, or I'm not sure how this child responds because I want it to be theirs. If you don't like the name, don't utilize it, right? If you want to use your child's name, that's ideal, right? It's easy. It's easy to flop these things out because they're short stories. If they love the understanding in depth, then move to the extended story. And you could read those stories every day and ask questions. How would they play out? What if this happened? What if we read this part of the story and we stop and we ask, what do you think he's going to do? What do you think's going to come up? What do you think this character thinks, right? The characters are all laid out for you in that info section in the Cosmic Compass as well. Moving on to week 3, we have 12 Nights of Light. This is super fun. We could break this down over really, if we wanted to, ideally, we could break it down into that reflection period, which starts from the end of December all the way through January. Newsflash is a 12 nights of return in January that's coming as well. You could see that if you are a yearly member of the Cosmic Compass. If you are a monthly member, then you will see that unroll here on January 1st. And so we could see the 12 Nights of Light as a ceremony, right? It's a ceremony of remembrance of ourselves. And so we look at reflection, we look at dreaming forward, we look at moving the light as it gets darker and looking at that inner reflection. So this can be something that you take week 3 and you make it something big, right? And you could fly through week 2 if you wanted to move through weeks of the Night of the Stars. There's so many ways that you can do this. Each week is only 25 pages and it's broken down into sections that you can mix and match. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So let's move on now um, into the heart aspect. So the heart aspect is the embodiment section. Let me make sure nobody has any questions yet here. Perfect. So the heart section, right? My second child is now very much so like this. She loved story, but now she likes to just lead with her voice and be this outward expression of life and love and connection. And so this is really fun for her. So you could lead with your voice, you could lead with a gentle rhythm here. You don't have to start with the stories. Again, this is the heart child. We probably wouldn't start with those stories because this person, this child likes doing, likes being, likes embodiment. So this is where you're going to get a lot of the movement, a lot of reflection questions. Like children of the heart love, 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 love reflection questions. So questions from week 1 we could look at are, what do you feel your spark is today after we read a story, we move through something, we teach a lesson, we go through that introductory stuff. You know, the introductory to these weeks are really easy for you to read to your child too. Going over the key words, the lessons that we're going to learn. That's important. You know, so we could say, we're going to look this week at your inner light. What do you know about your inner light? What do you feel if you had a fire inside of you that was ignited about who you are? What do you think your spark would say today, right? Then we have the mantra side of affirmation of those all wrapped into these weeks. And so for week 1, we could look in the heart embodiment. We could look at my light is steady or my light shines bright. And then we know when our light is not shining bright. And that's the key here, is to get more connected in our beingness of ourselves and our children. And parents, mothers, fathers, whoever you are, please do this work with them. It will change your life. That's why I said this is living and breathing. This is why this is not just for children. This will reparent and re-heal so many things inside of you that you won't even know it. You won't even know it. You'll be having so much fun connected with your children in this way. Week 2 of the heart child. When did you last feel wonder? The mantra being, I belong to the stars. Week 3 being, where are you ready to release? Mantra being, I honor the rhythm of endings and beginnings, right? We're ending a year, even though it's not ideally, it's just more like a calendar year. Not really a seasonal year, not until the springtime, essentially. But we can, explain that kind of type of concept. My children ask a lot of questions because they're so in rhythm and in tune with their beings that they came here to be, that I get a lot of these questions that I have to think, wow, you really came in and didn't even learn that, but just knew it was off and now have to relearn something else to do that unlearning. So last week for week 4 is what joy is rising, because we talk about joy, the mantra being hope rises in me like the returning sun. So super easy. Our intention here for those heart folks, those heart children, is the one place where the light has shown up for us each week because they have to be in their hearts. They want to embody that. Then we have the hands children, right? The hands children, again, I'm going to say it again. Your children are all three of these, but what are they today? Because we all know if my child likes peanut butter today, he will not like it tomorrow. We all know if he likes, my children, funny story, I make pot roast every now and again, and my son calls it hairy meat because he doesn't like the texture of it, but he will love it and beg for it. And then the next time I make it, like, I don't like hairy meat, right? Same thing. I'm all heart today. I'm all hands tomorrow. I'm all head the next day. Let it flow with you. If you forget to do the movement for week 3, you did not fail. You actually succeeded far beyond anyone else because that's what we do. We just tap into what works because you're letting the child lead. If you love Montessori stuff, if you love Waldorf stuff, this is where that principle comes from. I literally know nothing in that world. This doesn't come from any of those aspects except I understand the principle. This didn't come from any other type of body of work. This came from my own download, my own intuitive downloads as a mother, as a provider, as a practitioner. I was able to channel this for my own children, and it is a gift to the world. So it also follows those principles that other people like from those things. Child-led, it follows the child. It allows the child to still be inquisitive and curious and playful and fun, and they don't have to sit at a desk all day, right? So this is that type of aspect. Let's talk hands. Simple activities to anchor for this month. That's it. Simple. Hands children are simple children. Hands children, simple children. Week 1. We're talking about the 5-minute practice, right? So this is a really quick, easy way. So if we are sitting down with our hands children, you're going to probably catch them at breakfast, lunch, or dinner, right? Because they're using their hands, they're being very active. You're going to be catching them when they're in the midst of doing something. These children like to just be up and all over. It's a quick, doable practice. There's like literally no prep work. This is where you take the activities. This is where you take the movement practices from the curriculum or the flow and put it in your flow of your rhythm. So week 1, we have a single candle ceremony that we could do. Week 2 is stepping outside at night and whispering a dream to a star. Like this is so easy and it creates so much fun and wonder for children. It connects them, even if it's for 5 minutes. It gives them more than 5 minutes of a worksheet ever will. Week 3 is one intention per night. So you're going to keep an intention bowl, which is so fun. My children, of course, I think all children love the gratitude practice, but they also love when they could like write something down or they could draw a symbol or they could set an intention. That's super fun. It also helps them wake up and be a lot more cheerful and rested because they had some completeness to themselves during the day and it wasn't just mass like random bursts of curiosity. Week 4 is hum a tune together as the lights come on, being one with the lights. There's lots of other activities in there as well, but mamas, choose one. Choose one tiny anchor each week if you feel like this is not easeful for you because you are learning and repatterning yourself. That is the key. I spent a lot of time repatterning and learning myself. I did not grow up with this. I grew up in the K through 12 system, public school system. They didn't do this, right? But I knew I didn't want to copy and paste that to my children. So this was birthed through me with my children for them as a living, breathing work. So please just pick one. I can promise you the mothers that are not completing the monthly curriculum, but are connecting with their children are going so much further. So you are not failing at anything. If you feel like you can't do all 4 weeks, congratulations, you're human, right? And that's why I didn't over bombard you with curriculum. As a member of the Cosmic Compass monthly membership, you are welcome to download this with your monthly purchase. It does go away at the end of the month with the Cosmic Compass monthly membership, but you are welcome to download it, right? So you may not finish all 4 weeks, but you download the PDF and you have that. Super easy. Okay, if you opt in for the yearly, which will be coming back here, and all of my Southern Hemisphere friends and starter kit lovers, it is coming. The Southern Hemisphere Cosmic Compass, because newsflash, I know I've always lived in the Northern Hemisphere, but we're 6 months flopped. So I have shifted and rearranged and everything written out for your seasons exclusively. So if you are in the Southern Hemisphere, you will be seeing this go live in just literally, I think, a couple days. We are putting the finishing touches on it. So you can take this. If you opt into the yearly, you get the whole year. That has been up to date. I promise 2 months in advance because I'm always making updates and always refining things and always moving forward. So you will have 2 months for sure solidified in advance always in the yearly. Most of the time it's more because it's all done. It's just me refining everything. Um, but you can get that and you can still have it. So you could literally use it. You don't always have to use it just in that week. It's written with space and room and ease and deep breaths. That's the whole point of this. So let me see if there's any questions. You could always put questions in the chat. I want this to be an opportunity with all of us interacting together. And I know with us, there's lots of you watching live. There's some of you, I think, in the Zoom room with me now. As this tool and connection system for our community upgrades, which I know it will. My software system is always making great updates. The live feature was just brand new, which is why I've recently added it. I love being in connection and going live. I will streamline it once we get it a little bit easier, then we can all be in a little room together. But I don't want people in the community to miss out. I want it to be live in there, and then have access on Zoom for those who are not yet in the community as well. So some easeful closing structures that I want to just re-emphasize that I have notes written down here is that we aren't doing a checklist, everyone. And I always, marketing this curriculum is hard because it's really not homeschool either. So it's something that literally there's 500 plus members in our community. And there are so many emails and messages and reviews and feedback that I get that this is what everybody's been looking for, but didn't have words for it. And so it's hard. It's hard to market this because it's not a checklist. Homeschool is not just school at home, like many during the pandemic thought it was. This is something more than that. This is something that I created that I've literally never seen before. I didn't have any idea that it existed because it didn't, because I had looked for so long for something for my children that can bring them to their spirit and nature and their rhythm of who they are. And so you absolute must requirement, move by the beat of your own drum. Always. That's non-negotiable. So this curriculum could never fit into someone's box unless they massaged it into their box and made it their own. So we are in a darkness, right? We are in a season of rest. So let's speak to this in terms of seasonal rhythms, right? And so the light inside of us is enough for the darkness. No matter where you're at in the world, it's going to get dark at some point because we have to close out that dark period. If you're here in the Northern Hemisphere, it is winter. This is the key. The light is enough. You as a mother are enough. Your children chose you. Undeniable. Because they chose you to live out their dream. You are not failing. You are doing more than enough. If you are sitting here looking at this curriculum, thinking, I don't even know how to digest this. I don't even know how to put this into my rhythm. Congratulations. You have literally superseded beyond anything your child has ever hoped and desired for you. Not because I wrote this curriculum, but because this curriculum has been literally breathed through me like a channel. I am simply a vehicle. That's all I am, with a really great creative sense and a great voice to articulate it, which is why I think the curriculum picked me. And so you are enough. Just like the light is enough, you are enough. You are a incredible parent who is doing all of your best. I trust and I know that you are doing your absolute best because I'm a mother of 3 under the age of 6 and run 2 businesses and am currently in transition between moving and selling a house and figuring out buying another one. So many things in life right now. You are enough. Your children love you. You are their entire world. So the best thing that you could do for them is not just throw a curriculum at them and sit down and tell them to do it. You are modeling presence. And that is the biggest gift that you could ever give. You are that light. That modeling presence outbeats perfect execution every single freaking time. Every time. Children learn by rhythm and by watching us soften into rhythms. I know because I was a very type A mother, a very, very type A person, and a very, very type A logical, analytical person. And now I'm the furthest thing from that. If you looked at my humans, all of the versions of me that I've have died and been reborn, it's insane. And your children aren't asking you to be anything except for you and to allow them to learn from you. So when you do this work with them, they will learn more. When you answer the questions or lead with fun and curiosity and playfulness, they learn so much more. It's not about teaching material. It's about being a living, breathing experience for them. And that doesn't mean you have to be positive and happy and go lucky and not show an emotion and have it all put together. Trust me, I am much like air, earth, fire, a lot of fire, wind, all of the things. spirit, everything, ether, all the things, all day long. And my children never say that was too much because they are also learning to be earth, to be wind, to be fire, to be air, to be spirit, to be ether. They are learning all of those things, but they are learning through experience. And so they are sponges, and their nervous systems always regulate from that. So I want you, my hair, I got stuck in my ring. I want you to, right now, whether you're watching this live or on the replay, December is all about light. So I want you to take a deep breath. Actually, another one. That felt good. And I want you to choose a December word from this statement. Which light do you want to embody this month? Presence, the light of presence, just being, right? The simple light of just being, wonder, the light of wonder, the light of potential, of invitation, right? The light of reflection. The light of reflection can be too heavy for some people. It feels heavy for me this month, so I'm not picking that one. Or the light of joy. And this one's fun. The light of joy is easeful. It's exciting. Maybe presence is too heavy. Maybe reflection seems like too much. Maybe wonder is perfect and joy is, feels a little bit better. These are big ambiguous words, but make them mean what it means for your family. And I invite you to ask your children what they want their month word to be for December. I'm sure all of them are going to pick joy because if you're anything like my children, we live in the South. We've lived there for 10 years. They've never seen snow except for like a handful, less than a handful of times. And it snowed here more than a handful of times in the Northeast where we're currently at. And they're having so much fun. There's so much joy. And for adults like us, we would never see it that way, right? We would think, oh, we have to do this. They have to have this. They have to have this. They have to this, and check our boxes on what we believe their perspective should be like. So ask them their word. So I want to end here with a tiny little ritual. So let's take our hands and place them over our heart. Let's take a deep breath in. And I want you to breathe in light. So exhale, breathe in light, and breathe out ease. Breathe in the light. Say that word in your head. And exhale, ease. And I want you to say to yourself, the light returns, and so do we. This is a perfect time to jump into the cosmic compass. This is a perfect time for you to circle in ritual around your family in the darkness, be the light. In this period of reflection, in terms of this period of rest, softness, stillness, presence, peace, this is my intention for you all. So whether you are brand new and you are in the starter kit and you are wanting to move forward with Cosmic Compass, you have two options. The $27 a month opt-in, opt-out at any time. You get access to that month's worth of curriculum. Then you have the opportunity to opt in at the full year if you want to dive all in. That will be coming back here in a couple days. So whether you are in the Northern Hemisphere, in the Southern Hemisphere, it's coming, y'all. So literally anywhere in the world. Cosmic Compass can be here for you and your children. And we will do this call the Cosmic Compass Monthly Flow to help you prepare, to help you ground. The more people get on, the more questions we have, the more interactive things we do. We have wiggle room for so much connection. So it's not always going to be me sitting here talking. I want it to be interactive. I want this living, breathing entity to come to life. So check the events calendar in the community, invite your friends, invite your homeschooling, soul schooling, unschooling, if you're a radical unschooling mama like I am, invite them all to the community. It's completely free. They could jump on these calls. They could jump on live every Thursday. I am here to be in community and to support. We are changing the world, everyone. I know it sounds crazy. We all say we want to change the world, but we are. Sacred remembrance outbeats anybody doing anything. We are going back to our vibrational frequency of our soul selves. And the world is changing. It's all crashing and breaking down out there, but we are creating this. This is remembrance, creating it for our children. They are bringing it to us so that they can live in ways that we haven't had the opportunity yet, but we do because we're now ushering it in with them, setting that example and letting them witness that presence and stillness. So, sending you all so much love. Let me double check one more time to make sure we didn't have any questions. Love you all. Jump in there. If you have questions, reflections, get in the feed of the community. Ask your questions, share your wins. Please share your wins, share your struggles. My goodness, we're here to support you. We don't want you to feel left out. We want you to opt into all the things and the potential that life has for you, not just in your learning, but in your health, vitality, well-being, and in your biology. That's what we were wired for, everyone. And that's what I'm here for. So check us out on Thursday in the community, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday. I am going live. Bring all your questions, connections, your thoughts. We will be there, and I'm going to answer all the questions that are in the question feed that have accumulated this week on Thursday. So if you have questions on how to optimize things, your rhythm, your struggles as a mama, we're all learning together. I'm not perfect. I don't have it all figured out, but I'm here to channel that insight and be there. And the more women we have, the more parents we have on this call, the more we could come together as a community. So much love to you. Happy December. And I'm excited to move when we move into this wonderful winter solstice here and really ease and rest into life before we head into the springtime. Catch y'all later. See ya.